Hello once again. Welcome back to Judgment Day. This is about the T20 World Cup, and as you all know, Prasanna has got West Indies as the first qualifier into the semi-finals. He thinks they are going to qualify, while Robin hasn't really got any team yet through to the semi-finals. Before we dive into today's episode, which is going to be about New Zealand and Australia, I want to put something back to Robin. They put all the groups, but they also have seedings where in case these teams get through, they will fall in the same group as the group suggested. Okay.
Correct.
Group 1 is India, Australia, New Zealand, and Sri Lanka. That is, we are assuming New Zealand and Sri Lanka both get through, and of course, India, Australia get through. Just a rider. The second group is Pakistan, England, West Indies, and South Africa. So, what's happened now, in as much as your hunch about what you want is right, you've ruled out Pakistan, West Indies, and South Africa, which is not possible. You need to pick one between Pakistan, West Indies, and South Africa to sail through. You've given a real high rating to West Indies, which is 69 if I'm not wrong.
Correct.
And you've given 63 to South Africa.
And what's
I'm not suggesting.
Pakistan?
71.
What is the grouping in Super 8?
Super 8s, Pakistan, England, West Indies, and South Africa.
Pakistan, England, West Indies, South Africa. Okay, yeah. So Pakistan.
So you're going with Pakistan, 71. Okay, fair enough. Kudos to him. Okay, we'll dive into today's episode. You have something to say? You're itching to say something.
West Indies. I'm thinking about it. Robin was also with me when he said there's an upset chance of Ireland
Correct.
versus Pakistan.
But
Once they get through to the Super 8s.
Yeah, once they get through to the Super 8s, whether they get an upset or not, if they get through to the Super 8s.
In fact, you should remember that Pakistan didn't have a great 1992 World Cup either.
Yeah.
They had upsets, but they still went on to win the World Cup.
If that upset happens, if there's no ifs and buts in cricket, what I'm saying is if India beat Pakistan, they might not make it to Super 8s.
Okay, let's see. Let's wait and watch. I mean, I think you'll be fine, Robin.
Yeah.
I think Pakistan will get through. I don't think we need to debate that too much.
Let's see.
Okay, so it's time to dive into the first round, which is the intent machine for Australia and New Zealand, the Tasmanian brothers. Robin, where do we begin?
Intent machine, Warner, Head, and Mitchell Marsh. You know, these guys, when they play for Australia, they play very differently. And something about this Australian team and just Australia in general, when it comes to World Cups, they just turn up, man. And no matter how it's been in the past or just before going to the tournament, when it comes to the World Cups, there's something about Australia and about you just can't write them off in any way, shape, or form. And Warner has not been in the best of form. He's changed his technique quite a bit, and I don't think that technique is going to serve him as far as scoring runs is concerned. He has to. I hope he changes.
See, look, I think in his defense, Warner had a blind spot on the leg side, right? So people kept charging and chipping at it. They kept going straight at him. And he's actually started to buckle down his back foot and started to pick those balls behind fine leg, which I think has given another dimension, which has also lost his strength on the offside a bit. His strength has been offside.
Correct.
He's lost it a bit, and he's constantly looking for runs over the leg side, behind square especially. It's interesting, but Warner played a series against West Indies now, right? In Australia, just before. I mean, not now, not of late, before the IPL. He smashed it inside the power play, Robert. He just smashed it. He kept switch hitting everybody.
But
he just smashed it.
Where did they play this tournament?
In Australia.
In Australia.
In Australia.
So you can get away with that technique being so open if there's enough bounce there where your stumps are not threatened in a sense, right? But if you're playing in a country like India, maybe even like a West Indies where it can be little too pace or it can be spongy double bounce, the two heights, you know, those kind of tracks, it's going to be very hard to score runs because just seeing that technique, I knew, yes, he's got access to the leg side right now. But you don't need to change your technique so much to access the leg side because you're taking away your main strength as a batter. And he's actually, last year he was much better than the previous year, but this year was far worse than the last 2 years put together.
We're talking about David Warner.
Yeah, but David Warner. But I think to make a change in such a vast change in his technique so late in his career is why he's struggling with it. You know, I think he'll take some time to find it, but he would do a great service to himself if he just moved back to what is naturally him. And like he's in the back end of his career, he can do without one shot in his book rather than missing out a whole side of the field.
So how do you see the intent machine of Australia?
Sorry, coming back to
no, of course. Hazelwood, Stark, Cummins.
Yeah, so Hazelwood, Stark, Cummins, I think.
An over of Maxwell in the power play?
Possibly. That they also have Ashton Agar
I don't think he makes it to the 11. The first choice 11. He
It
might.
has to be between.
They have to leave out one of their quick bowlers to
Yes,
fit in.
either Hazelwood or Agar. So it based on the
No, I think it'll be,
conditions they will do. So both can't play, unfortunately.
So how does your Indian machine work for?
So for them, I would give them a good, healthy 18.
18 for Australia. That's it. I think okay. That's interesting. We'll then what about New Zealand, Robs? Where do you see their Indian machine sitting upon? Finn Allen could open the batting. Devon Conway or Devon
I
Conway.
actually think they have a problem of a plenty, New Zealand. They
Devon
have
Conway, Finn Allen, Rachin Ravindra.
Rachin Ravindra.
That's your three out of which you need to pick your openers.
Yeah.
Because I think Williamson has to walk in at 3.
Yeah, because Finn is really good in New Zealand conditions. He plays very well in home conditions. He plays very well in Australia. Seldom have we seen him score a lot of runs in India or in the subcontinent, or even for that matter, I don't know in the West Indies how he, even against spin, I don't know how well he plays against spin. I've not seen him score so many runs. At least when I've watched him play, I've not seen him score too many runs against spin. So will they use Rachin, who's a far better player to spin than I think Finn is, and Devin is also
Fine player,
yeah, very fine player to spin as well. And then you want Kane Williamson to bat at 3 because he's going to play that traditional sheet anchor role for the Kiwis. So from that front, it looks like a pretty solid option right at the top. Matt Henry, Trent Bolt, Tim Southee, man, I think that's pretty solid in itself. And with Bolty,
I don't think Matt Henry makes it to it because Saudi, Bolt, and Ferguson.
See, the one thing is no team is more strategic than New Zealand.
Yes.
Correct.
In that front, if you see the impact, what the guys who can swing the ball up front, that edge will go to Henry, or else it's going to be a toss up between Ferguson and Henry. But I feel Henry will start.
You think Saudi and Bolt start? They're a fix.
100%.
They're a fix. So it's between Ferguson and Matt Henry.
Yeah.
That's it. That's quite an interesting.
Yeah, I think what we've generally seen Bolt also bowl in international cricket is 2 overs in the power play, 1 in the middle, 1 in the death. And that's generally how he bowls. I think Bolty will take the chunk of bowling. Sorry, Saudi will take the chunk of bowling in the death. I think he'll bowl 2 in the death, 1 from him, and probably bowl 16th, 17th over will be bowled by Matt Henry. And then so you get the 3 bowlers to bowl up front, and you get your 3.
So you're going to leave Ferguson out. That's how you look at it.
Yeah, at this point you leave Ferguson out.
So what's their Indian machine rating?
Here I would say
You gave Australia an 18.
Yeah, I'd say a 17.
17, 1 lesser. P-Dog, do you agree? Where do you see Australia and New Zealand on the Indian
I'll go with New Zealand first. They've got Finn Allen at top.
So you're not opening with Rachin, Robin?
See, they've got Devon Conway at 2, who's a left-hander, who's neither a dasher nor a accumulator. So you got that kind of a player at other end. You need to have a real dasher at the go. So you need to have Finn Allen, and number 3 is going to be Kane Williamson.
But you need a dasher who performs, no, Baba?
Correct, but still.
At the World Cup level, you need someone who you know will, like even a Warner for that matter. You know that when push comes to shove in a World Cup, he'll figure out a way to score runs. There's no doubt about it. He may score it a little slowly, but he will perform. But with Finn Allen, if you have to peg Finn Allen against Rachin Ravindra, who do you feel will, or gives you the feeling
there is serious pedigree in Rachin Ravindra,
or that assurance of who will score you runs? Because Rachin, when he's on song,
Rachin on song, but if 10 games, Finn Allen is going to create a big dent 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. I'm not saying that he's going to be as consistent as Rachin Ravindra. He can come there and tear the opposition in the power play 3 out of 10 games. That 3 out of 10 games, 2.
Or is there a scope for playing both of them?
Then they have to leave Conway out. Okay. That is the only problem.
Then who keeps?
No, I'm saying, is there a scope to play Conway, Finn Allen, and Rachin? Rachin at 3 and Williamson at 4.
Mark Chapman out.
The issue is they are going to bat in the position where they're not comfortable in, because all 3 has to open. So they have to push Ravindra to number 3, but you rather don't want to do that experiment. So if you see this, Finn Allen, Devon Conway, and Kane Williamson, they're a perfect team to get you to that 46 for 1, which is really needed in these conditions. Then when you see, that's what I feel Henry is going to start. He's a potential wicket-taking bowler. And then I don't think I need to elaborate on what Trent Bolt is with the new ball. And Southee, just because of his experience, he will deliver. So they're not explosive quicks, all 3. They are around 135, 136, but they're going to be difficult customers to deal with. So they will have a very good rating of 19 out of 25.
Oh my God, okay. New Zealand's Indian machine is 19 for P-Dog. What about Australia then? Because see, I think consistently New Zealand is one team that people don't put in their top four or really rate massively. And every time they go there. But of late, people have been putting them up there. Is there expectation which will probably weigh on them? Is it something that is a possibility? Because they're a very unassuming team. They're not a team of
Correct.
superstars.
They're a team that flies under the radar, and like you said, not a team of real like massive superstars. They're still stars in their own right, but it could, But I think it's a matter of a conversation and saying, okay, guys, this is going to be there on top of our heads. And I think Kane Williamson is the kind of individual who will actually address these kind of things head on and say, okay, have these conversations, and then take off any pressure that it could actually imply on the players before they even get to a tournament. So they would possibly they would have already had this conversation.
Yeah, you had New Zealand at 19. What about Australia?
You got Warner, but as you said, that Warner is someone who always delivers in big tournaments like ICC tournaments, even though you rightly said his access on the offside has become.
No, I'm saying Warner is Warner. I just spoke about that technical bit. I still think he's a gun player and he will deliver because he's got that attitude of a bull. So, like they say.
And I have a feeling at the back end of the tournament, teams have come in terms of how to sort out Travis Head in IPL. They can sort Travis Head out in these pitches. You're going to have more access to do the same there in Caribbean as well. And then number 3 is going to be Mitch Marsh. I always feel, I don't know, this is my opinion, he's always suited to bat at number 5 or number 6 to be more destructive than in the top of the order is what I feel. So if you see this, you don't really feel, if you're going to give high marks for them with the batting, you're not sure about it, but it doesn't look as bad as people think. Then when it comes to bowling, they are going to come with one gear to come and blast the opposition out in power play. That is the attitude they go. That starts with Mitchell Starc, followed by Cummins, and followed by Josh Hazlewood. You will not see them going there with a thinking of, I'm going to see the power play off, be it a flat track or it's going to be giving assistance to the fast bowler. They're going to come with one thinking that might backfire with them as a bowling unit. They might bleed 56 for 1. So if you see that on average, if you see the balance, if you see how they're going to adapt to the conditions, I'll fall back to 16 out of 25.
Oh my God, you've given New Zealand a 19 and 16 to
Whoa.
Australia. Oh my God, okay. Very interesting.
What?
Are you serious?
How?
That bowling lineup and that batting lineup, you're giving them because
how are you giving like on okay? Split the 16 between the two skills.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair assessment. Just split it between the how much for batting and how much for bowling.
For batting, how much for bowling?
In batting, I would rather give 7 and I will give 9 for bowling.
So you rate their bowling greater than their bat?
I rate their bowling, but I'm worried about the approach which they're going to come there and go and blast the team out, which is not needed in the pitches where you'll always have something as a bowling unit to work with. If you want to try and do that in flat pitches like IPL, where no matter what you do, you're going to get hammered, it's a different thing. When you come where you're going to have some assistance, you go on full throttle, it might backfire.
Interesting.
No, so,
Robin, you were pretty close. Australia 18 and New Zealand 17. But P-Dog is 19 for New Zealand and 16 for Australia. And that's why I said the expectations are growing on New Zealand. You want to say something?
No, so for me, I respectfully disagree with you because I'm like, dude, it's
like, what have you been on? What have you been smoking?
That too. But bro, they're Australia. They're like multiple time world champions even in the last 3 or 4 years.
Why Pilla Raja?
Why bro? Yes or no? I'll tell you why.
You're saying Australia have no chance? I think we should give it a break and finish this round and see what he has to say in the next one. That brings us to the end of the intermission. We'll move on to the tempo managers. P-Dog, Australia, you've rated low. Robin already disagrees on tempo managers. What do Australia have after Mitchell Marsh, and what are their spin options and middle over options?
So the middle overs, if you see, it's going to be Glenn Maxwell. It is all about not the skill. You know what Maxwell can do. Whether it will be mentally.
Are you talking about his bowling or his batting?
First, I'm reflecting on the batting.
Oh, you're not going.
Whether it'll be in the right mental space to go there and bring the same old demand of Glenn Maxwell, then probably what they will try and do, because Mitch Marsh is going to only play as a batsman until Super 8s because of his hamstring injury, where he can't bowl.
And he is the captain.
Yeah. Number 5 is going to be Cameron Green. Cameron Green, what kind of a player is a good player, a destructive player?
So you play Cameron Green ahead of Stoinis?
ahead of Tim David.
Tim David. Okay. Okay.
Stoinis will surely play. So number 5 is going to be Green, and your number 6 is going to be Stoinis. Stoinis at number 3 is a different beast, and Stoinis at number 6 is a different beast. I always feel someone like Stoinis want to bat at top 4 to make more dent than what is he going to be pitted in here between Green and Wade. This is
You think number 7 is Wade?
Number 7 is going to be Wade. So when you see their bowling there, Zampa, you can put your money on. He's going to be someone who's definitely going to get the breakthroughs for you. And he has done that now and then, be it the bilateral series, be it IPL, be it ICC tournaments, wherever it is. And the only problem is it's a toss-up between Hazelwood and Ashtanaga, but they will surely prefer Hazelwood. The another spin option is going to be Maxwell. Can Maxwell bowl 4 overs first? If he bowls 4 overs, can he do that containing job, the lead spinner for 4 overs 23? There is a question mark. So my rating for them again will stay on 16 out of 25.
He's not moving around the 16 button, Robin.
Bro, actually, ideally, I wouldn't send Maxwell at 4. Like it's a
Okay,
no.
who's your number 4 then?
Stoinis. Or so I would in fact send Green at number 4.
He did that for RCB.
Yeah, Green at number 4, Stoinis at 5, or vice versa, and Maxwell at 6, and then Wade at 7. Because if you think of it even from a mental health point of view, you want to give him as little pressure as possible and as much freedom as possible to go out there and just express himself and give that sense of lightness. And I think that at number 6 will give him that sense. Then because he's still got Wade behind him, still got Cummins behind him. So for me, the middle overs would be more Green/Stoinis, Maxwell, then Matthew Wade.
One thing I can say that swap of Maxwell and Green can happen, but Stoinis is someone who has been a fixed slot batting at number 6 all the time for them. So I agree with you. Maxwell will come at number 5. I don't think him dropping to number 6. That's what my feeling is.
No, I mean I hear what Robin says because I think he wants. But Maxwell is a destroyer of spin.
He is.
So ideally, you want him in when the spin is on.
Sure, you do. And the thing is, with like even if you look at it from the point of view of, say, he's coming from, obviously you have to look at the current situation, right? And a mental health issue is a serious issue, and it has implications on every aspect of your life. With that, he still wants to play for his country. And how do you mitigate any of those impositions on your mind when you're going to play a sport, when you first of all are not feeling too good about the way you're batting or the way you're performing, right? So you want to take off as much pressure as possible, and I think ideally you want, and I think Stoinis, with the way he's batting at number 3, will be only more happy to go slightly more up the order, because the more number of balls he faces, the better for him, the better for the team. And then the lesser balls Maxwell has to face, the easier for him, the lesser pressure for him, the more freedom for him to
go out there and hit the ball.
Just go out there and express yourself, right? You're giving him the best chance to do well. Especially when someone's behind the 8 ball mentally, you want to give them the best chance to do well. As a team, you want to be able to support that. And that's why I feel he should bat at number 6 and then Wade at 7. And if that is the batting order, I feel like it's a solid.
So what's your
solid middle order? I would actually give that. And in the middle overs, as far as spinners are concerned, you know that Cummins is going to bowl.
Zampa,
Cummins,
Maxwell.
And Maxwell to a certain extent. You probably have Green bowl 1. You probably have Stoinis bowl 1 with his change-ups. And that's a pretty solid bowling lineup as well. So I'll give that an 18 again.
Robin's gone for an 18 again to Australia. P-Dog is not moving out of 16.
You say solid, it should be 20. I gave 16.
No, but he stayed very consistent with his 18. You stayed very consistent with your 16. You went 19 to New Zealand in the tempo managers. What's your score for New Zealand? 19 in the intent machines. What's your score for them in tempo managers?
You have a guy like Daryl Mitchell, who I rate as a very good player, mature player. Glenn Phillips is a dangerous player. And then they're going to have the left-handed Mark Chapman. Santner can bat. If you see this there, if you ask me a question of what kind of destruction they've got, I might say they don't have a destructive batting unit, but if you see that there, they are all workhorses. They know what to do.
They've got Glenn Phillips.
Be it Glenn Phillips, be it Mark Chapman. This is not someone who's going to give you big names for you to choose from, like Stoinis, Maxwell and Marsh, but this is a workhorse unit. And then when it comes to bowling in the middle overs, that is where Ish Sodhi is a kind of a guy you always try and take him lightly and you get your wicket.
But the last I heard from New Zealand is that Sodhi will not play.
Sodhi will play.
That's what they said. They said Santner would play. They'll use Phillips to bowl and Sodhi might not play.
If you see, let me tell you, their reserves is going to be Michael Bracewell, the off-spinning all-rounder, left-hander, and one of Henry or Ferguson, and then Jimmy Neesham.
So you won't play Jimmy Neesham and you'll play Sodhi.
I will definitely play Sodhi because when you see the conditions there, Sodhi is not going to give you 4 overs 23, but he's going to be that 4 overs 36, where he's going to pick up 2 wickets, much similar to Tabraiz Shamsi. And Santner is a guy, I can tell you, 7 out of 10 games going to come up with 4 overs 23 runs. And a positive thing is, if he picks a wicket or 2 and then supports Sodhi, then it's going to be a dangerous thing. And then you always have someone like Daryl Mitchell to come and bowl a couple of overs is good enough. Glenn Phillips can also bowl 2 overs. So if we see that this is a kind of a team where they're not going to blow you out or you can't take them lightly. I gave 19 in the power play. I'll stick on to 17 in the middle overs.
Would it be fair to say you can even play Bracewell instead of Chapman?
Bracewell instead
Because
of
he can bat as well.
He can. He showed the glimpse, right? In India on that tour, he had some fantastic
he
innings.
He can really tonk the ball.
But Chapman has been their go-to finisher in the last year or so. See, the one thing with New Zealand, right? They orchestrate this. They give clear clarity. The communication is perfect. They would have probably gone ahead to Chapman and said, "Boss, this is your role.
Correct.
You do this, and we are backing you to the World Cup."
Yeah.
And they don't change on that.
Correct.
Because I was having this chat with Saudi once, and he told me our resources are very minimal.
Correct.
We don't have too many options.
Yeah.
So we back those options. And we keep going. That gives us the comfort in terms of big tournaments.
Yeah, but you know they're missing out on one player. I don't know if he's in the squad or not. Tim Seifert.
Tim Seifert's not in the squad.
He's a gun batter, man, and he can do the same job that Finn Allen's doing, if not a better job, at the top of the order. He is gun as a batter. So for me, he misses out. But you give them what, 16, 17?
He's given us 17 for New Zealand.
17.
Your tempo managers with Daryl Mitchell, Glenn Phillips.
So Daryl Mitchell again solid. Daryl Mitchell, Glenn Phillips again. Glenn Phillips, Mark Chapman. I don't know how efficient Mark Chapman is as a finisher. If you compare apples to apples, like as finishers,
Maxwell and all that. Yeah.
Maxwell, Russell, Hetmeyer, and all of these blokes. You know, where does Chapman land? But if that's who they decided to go with, then awesome. And then, but I still think it's not up to scratch when I just think about that. I'd rather send a Glenn Phillips, but Glenn Phillips does well at number 5 also, so you don't want to send him below that. So I think
the power is the one thing that lacks if Neesham is not there. So what's your tempo manager score for?
As far as bowling is concerned, I think Santner solid, Sodhi solid, Henry will again bowl in the middle overs, again pretty solid. So I think I would give them a 16.
A 16, okay.
Solid 16.
Solid number 16. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி 13, 14 கொடுத்திருந்தீங்களே. You giving 13, 14 and 15s. Anyway.
9 also to few teams.
9? Who did you give a 9?
I think Bangladesh you give 9.
Yeah, that's right. You gave a 9 for Bangladesh. You've been a cruel man today. And
yeah,
in fact, you said Australia ku vaipilla raja vera. Since I have missed out on my ratings, people have called me out on that. So I'm going to give my ratings on the intent machine for Australia and New Zealand. I will go with an 18 again for Australia on the intent machine, and I'll go. If Finn Allen opens, that's the thing, right? If Finn Allen doesn't open, I think their bowling is really good. So I will again give New Zealand an 18 on the intent machine. I'm going high on that. And the middle, the tempo
man. Is it based on what you feel or just based on how they've performed in the past?
Look, I think it's a feel of how Saudi, Bolt, and Henry can go. Okay. And even if they miss out on one and play Ferguson, I still think that's a really potent attack.
Agreed.
And inside the power play, in the batting, I think Devon Conway and Kane Williamson are as industrious as it can get.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to go heavyweight bonkers.
No doubt.
But they can still end up with 50 runs.
Yeah.
Because Kane Williamson is a wonderful touch player, can find gaps on the offside, very good on the cut. In case Finn Allen comes off, or in case Rachin Ravindra gets off to a good start, that is a serious side actually. And the only concern for me would be in the tempo managers, which is where I'm going next.
Yeah.
And for Australia, I'm giving a solid 19 here. I'm not going any less than 19 for Australia on the tempo managers. That's a seriously powerful batting lineup. And
correct.
I would. The only thing I would do is probably to get some more potency around the middle. I might be tempted to play Ashton Agar. If that means to leave out one of the because you've got Green, you've got Stoinis, you've got Maxwell. I might be tempted to leave one of the all-rounders and play Ashton Agar there because in West Indies, right? Yeah. Like you said, it's not the impact player. The scores are not going to swell.
Correct.
Ashton Agar can just about give you that 4 overs, 20 for 2 wickets.
You got only 2 all-rounders now. Mitch Marsh is just a
No,
batsman.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying as the Super 8s goes, then he can probably start bowling. And
I have a strong feeling they might leave out Hazelwood in the pitches like St. Kitts, St. Lucia, few of the pitches where you predominantly no spinners come into the picture, particularly in the middle overs. Those pitches, there's
Bro,
a chance.
Hazelwood, you will never drop. Like,
no, I'm not saying. I'm not even going to the fact that who should be dropped.
Yeah.
It's about who should play. It's a very difficult conversation to have. You can't leave out a player like a Cummins or a Stark or Hazelwood in any game.
Yeah.
Because they're high quality bowlers.
Yeah.
It's very tough.
yeah,
And that's why I went to another all-rounder and said, okay, maybe that's a slot.
yeah,
And put some more pressure on the batters to, carry the load.
Yeah.
With respect to New Zealand, for the tempo managers, I would go as low as 15. The reason for that is I think Mitchell Santner really covers up that place. If Sodhi plays, he covers it up.
yeah.
But I just feel in the middle there with Mitchell, Phillips and Chapman, without Neesham, there is not enough impetus. So I would just go as low as 15. And if the wickets, in case they start sitting up and holding up, that's one place where Kane Williamson will have to do bulk of the scoring. And that's why that's my score for them. So which brings us to the end of this segment. The next one is the end game, where we'll be looking at the power quotient. If we talk about power, P-Dog, we'll begin with Australia.
Australia, when it comes to power, definitely yes. If you see number 5, 6 and 7, maybe it's
1, 2, 3 பாரு bro. என்ன bro நீ சொல்ற? 1, 2, 3 பாரு. Warner power, head power.
No, it's about the finishers. No, that's
he's
why he's talking about the end
the
game.
last 5 overs.
Last 5 overs.
Okay.
So if you see that their weight can really hurt you, Stoinis, I don't think I need to elaborate. Green and Maxwell, that is some kind of power there for you. Cummins can bat, Stock can bat. No one can deny that. So in that, they looks really threatening there. And then when you see their bowling in the death overs, Cummins, no matter what, even if he bowls well, if you see, somewhere that relies too much on the slower bounces and all these things, doesn't bowl toe-crushing Yorkers anymore, goes for 10
Which
and
was a
over,
change
no
this
matter what.
IPL. I thought he bowled a lot of Yorkers even in the power play and the middle overs.
Yeah.
He was changing it up.
Hazelwood is someone where is more effective in the first 14 overs than in the last 6. So they have to probably try and see whether they can get an over or 2 from Stoinis or Green and then 2 from Stark. So it's a little bit of thing where the batting team can exploit here, even though their bowling is
Hazelwood has been a good death bowler. Hazelwood has done really well at the death.
he doesn't have variations for you much.
என்ன bro
என்னமா
சொல்ற?
சொல்ற? புரியல. லெக் கட்டர்
என்ன
போட்டா
bro சொல்ற?
சரியா போட்டுருக்கா. He's been one of the best T20 bowlers.
Yeah.
In fact, there was an article where I read pieces on Hazelwood being the most improved T20 bowler. I sent it to someone and he was very consistent for RCB and for CSK.
He's very
Even
that's
in the
what I'm
World
saying.
Cup final here that just recently concluded
Correct,
against India,
correct.
he and Pat Cummins were the one who were only changing the pace, bro. They didn't give any pace to the
In
bowlers.
fact, Mitchell
to the
Stark was
batters.
the one who was looking out of sorts that day.
Correct.
My opinion, not denying that, I would rate him as 1 to 14 overs as someone who's going to create impact rather than the last 6 when you put him in the top bowlers where someone like Bumrah, someone like Stark, someone like others will win a game from nowhere.
So you don't put him there. Okay.
I feel
Let's wait
that,
and watch. Huh?
that's exactly. I feel that you can exploit this in the death overs. The batting is clinical. They can bail you out of a tough situation. Bowling, can they defend when it gets closer like 49 in the last 5 overs, 5 down? A team like West Indies, they bat deep. Team like New Zealand, they can bat deep. It's going to be a question mark. So my overall rating for them will still remain on 16.
Okay, I think Robin's laughing, so we'll move to Robin. Robin, what do you think?
I love when Robin laughs.
என்ன bro சொல்ற நீ? You're saying 5 overs, 49, 5 wickets to go. You think with this bowling lineup?
Hey, 5 overs, 49 to get with any bowling attack is not that easy.
No.
It is a 50-50 game
Yeah.
nowadays.
No,
Yeah.
look, that's what I'm telling you. You're going to witness something very different. I'm not sure about the filling pitches in US. But Caribbean, if you see that 5 overs, 49, you think you have 5 wickets in hand, you're going to cruise through. No, let me tell you on that. 15 5 overs in Caribbean is going to be equal battle between both bat and ball.
Yeah, everybody said no.
No. So if it's going to be in IPL, you can turn off the television saying that you know the result when you hit 50 or 5. The few pitches, particularly a pitch like Guyana, pitch like Barbados, massive square boundaries. I don't know.
Barbados is not that massive and all. I've played at Barbados. One side is so small that you have to pick up the ball from the Atlantic Ocean.
Maybe when you played that, they might have changed the dimension. Played in CPL, you really get a next train seeing the boundary here and there. I can
A
probably
year
say
or
that.
so ago, England and West Indies played a series. You saw that series. Chris Gayle also played that probably a couple of years ago. Barbados one side is almost a 40-kilometer breeze, man.
Yeah.
All you need to do is just pick up the ball and
Huge
land it like this. It
Yeah.
will just fly off. And
So
it is huge.
So if you think that 50 or 5 with the batting team having 5 wickets and it's a cakewalk, you're going to see that what it is in Caribbean, not in.
So your rating for their end game is 16.
Yes,
Australia is 16.
yes.
Okay, say that again. No, I want you to say it like this. Australia end game, my rating is 16.
எனக்கு 16 இவருக்கு 20.
I didn't ask. He will give his opinion. You give yours.
Mine is 16. I told you. Then
Okay, Robs, your
the
rating.
movie Punch Dialogue will come. It's going to be 20. Watch.
சொன்னாச்சு அது முடிஞ்சது அவ்வளவுதான்.
Hey, you tell that. It's 20 only. Yeah?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
giving them a 20.
100% 20. Because for me, look at the fast bowlers they have. I think it's one of the best you can get in the world. This quality of fast bowlers to bowl in the death. I think Hazelwood. I would argue that Hazelwood's the most effective of the three.
I actually think so. I also and Stark might get a bit of tail because day games.
Yeah.
There's hardly any dew. The ball
Yeah.
might start reversing a bit.
Yeah. And if you look at batting, Stoinis, Wade, Green, and Maxwell. Man, that's also really super high quality. No brainer 20.
I think he's basically doing this so that he might go back to his channel and say Australia is going to win it. So he's covering both sides of the goal here. Anyway, okay, we'll shift to New Zealand then. Robs, what's your call on New Zealand's end game? How does it look?
New Zealand's end game. New Zealand's end game will depend very heavily on Glenn Phillips and Mark Chapman. When I think of Glenn Phillips as a finisher, I feel like okay, that's a strong finisher. But when I think of Mark Chapman as a finisher, that feeling doesn't necessarily come for me. It doesn't augur that feeling. And I agree, he's very industrious. He's very hardworking. He's a workhorse. He gets things done in his own way. If that's effective, great. I don't know honestly how much that's worked in the favor of New Zealand in the past. As far as the bowling is concerned, I think in the beginning I said I think Saudi and Bolt.
Bolt might just give one over. I think
over.
it'll be largely
Henry will bowl one or two.
Saudi will bowl 2. Have to bear the brunt.
Yeah, and Saudi will have to bowl 2. I would say 17.
17 to New Zealand. P-Dog?
So if you see that there, Mark Chapman is a very good player, but it's a proven commodity. It's a difficult question to answer. And as he said, it's going to be plenty to depend on Glenn Phillips. Santner can bat. கெட்ட பையன் சார் இந்த காளி அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு will put his glasses on, he'll come there and eat a straight 6, which you don't expect. And if you see after that, Southee can also hit some big blows. But if you see, if you are really going to get worried seeing this last 5, I don't think so. Then you come to Southee. It's not the same Tim Southee who's been the death overs few years before. And then if you see Matt Henry is someone who's going to be extremely effective. Again, the same theory what I gave to Josh Hazelwood. And then if you see Bolt is also someone who's going to really trouble you early on. But even if you see the IPL and all these things, he's not really someone where you need to worry about. So even if you see their death bowling is also nothing to be worried about. So when it comes to batting and bowling, it's not really threatening. They have to set the game up in the first 15 overs. So I really give a low rating of 13 out of 25.
13 out of 25 for New Zealand. I'll actually go with P-Dog and I'll give New Zealand's end game a 14 and Australia's end game a 20. Along with, I'm sticking with Robin on that and going with...
உனக்கு 18 உனக்கு 20.
20 for 20 for Australia and 13 for New Zealand. And just a fair assessment, and that's what I think it is. I think we will get the balance report now in the whole segment. So we'll bring this one to an end. The next one is the holes, drawback, and obviously the balance, how well the side is balanced. So we'll go straight away to P-Dog on Australia and New Zealand both. Tell me how you feel about both the teams, their balance.
If you see New Zealand, that's what the only thing what
I can't see how New Zealand can leave Jimmy Neesham out. I just can't.
If
Because Glenn Phillips is there, there is literally no power. There's
Chapman is a real power player, but the only thing is Neesham batting at 7 will be ideal. The best thing for them to happen is have someone like Neesham at 7. But unfortunately, they need to have these 3 fast bowlers who can do the job. So they have to drop one of the fast bowlers, probably Matt Henry, and bring Neesham in. That's really going to weaken their bowling. What you are saying is perfectly right. Neesham is an asset, but how are you going to bring him in? Or else you'd bring him in place of Chapman. Him batting at number 6 is too high. So if you see that the problem is, the most important thing is the first 14 overs, they look sorted out with their batting and bowling. The most important thing, how are you going to finish? You don't have goods to finish with the ball. You don't have the goods to finish with the bat. So in my opinion, overall, even if you say it's going to be 13 out of 25, unfortunately.
13 on balance from P-Dog. for New Zealand. What about Australia?
See, Australia, I told you only one thing. They've got all the bases covered. The only thing in my question, if you see, is the death bowling. That is the only thing. If you see, they got spinners. Someone like Zampa
எப்படி
is going
மச்சா
to
சொல்றான்
Zampa is going to really
புரியவே
lead the charge.
மாட்டேங்குது.
They got the batting lineup, which is solid until number 7. They got
Speed out.
Stark.
எப்படி ப்ரோ சொல்றேன் எப்படி
Let me finish. They got Stark, they got Cummins, they got Zampa, they got all-rounders who can bowl like Green and Stoinis. Maxwell can bowl. There's plenty of options. Overall, if you see, even then I said that's a problem with the death bowling. Definitely, I'm not backing
They
it
have a
away.
problem with the death bowling.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I will give 20 out of 25. Yeah, put a smile on both of your faces. Come on.
Fulla he said death bowling is a problem. He didn't give many points in the death game also.
Yeah.
And now he's come out with a 20 or 25 for balance because they have bowling options. Anyway, your calls down.
Oh,
New Zealand and
God.
Australia's balance.
Come on, Robin.
New Zealand and Australia's balance, Robs.
Balance wise, obviously, I feel the Australian team is way more balanced than the New Zealand side. I think it's a much more well-rounded side, a lot more all-rounders in the middle order, gives you a lot more options. Maxi can bowl, Stoinis can bowl, Green can bowl. That itself is 3 solid options. Wade is a solid finisher, has served that team very well. Great fast bowlers, top order, 21, 22, 22. I think as far as balance is concerned. And they have Tim David in the wings.
Waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play. I don't think he's going to start.
Think he'll play. But
What about New Zealand on the contrary?
New Zealand, on the other hand, I would say as far as balance is concerned, I probably wouldn't give it. They're clearly missing, again, problem over plenty at the top. You have to play Devon Conway and Kane Williamson and one of Finn Allen and Rachin Ravindra. You have to play Daryl Mitchell and Glenn Phillips because he brings the power with Mark Chapman. But that ends at number 6. There's no...
There's nothing after.
There's
Santner
nothing
can bat a
after.
bit.
Santner can certainly bat a bit, but he's had few successes in the recent past. Neesham is sitting outside because they can't get the balance right. And then the bowlers come in, and then those bowlers you will have to use. So with that, I feel like the balance I would give only about 14.
14. Okay, now it's my turn. I'll go with Robin. I'll give Australia a 23 actually on the balance because of the kind of bowling options and the batting depth they might have. If they play Ashton Agar, it goes even more deeper.
Yeah.
For New Zealand, I'm going with a 15 in terms of balance. I think they will get Neesham in, and which is why I'm going with 15. If Neesham's not there, that balance is going to suffer further without much power. So I think that brings us to the end of all the 4 segments, and we will have a final report of mark sheet, the report card coming in. Right. The report card is here. We have the final points with us. With respect to New Zealand, I think we have a consensus, Robs. I think P-Dog is on 62, I am on 62, you are on 64. I think that 64 is a kindness from your side, that too. Otherwise, we might have just ended up on 16.
Correct.
Because you're sometimes not decided on 14, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that broadcaster coming out. And with the Australian team, I clearly see a bias. Okay, I think it's purely because he wants to grab the headlines. He's given a 68 to Australia, whereas both of us, you're on 78, I'm on 80.
68 is a very good rating.
Oh. என்ன rating death இல்ல middle order இல்ல சரி இல்ல அப்படிலாம் சொல்லிட்டு you said all that and you gave them a 20 on balance.
I only said that death bowling is a problem.
If death bowling is a problem, then where is the balance coming from? Death bowling has a serious...
Every team has got a problem in one phase or the other, and Australia's got the problem in there.
So okay, let me just put you on the spot then and find out, because you qualified West Indies as the grand 69, I think, right? 69 West Indies and you qualified them. Okay. Tell me where Australia is finishing, where New Zealand is finishing.
Obviously, you're an intelligent man. 69 is qualified, 68 is also going through semi-finals. I don't think you should waste your energy, resource and time.
So Australia is qualifying?
Yes.
New Zealand?
They will, I think, eliminated in Super 8s.
Super 8s. Robin, you?
So it's going to be, from me, 2 teams are already in the semi-finals. It's
West Indies and Australia. Robs?
For me, Australia qualified.
Australia qualifies. New Zealand?
It's hard to write New Zealand out, but
if you get New Zealand in, you're going to miss India out. Please understand, it's New Zealand,
Yeah.
Australia, India, and Sri Lanka in one group.
Yeah, I know.
Already one spot is sealed.
No,
Hey,
so for
utru
me,
mama, ball utru mama.
no, irrespective of whether India or not, I'm thinking from the point of view of the team, the combinations, the balance, and playing in the Caribbean and in America. I'd feel like they won't go past the Super 8 stage.
Super 8, okay. In my view, I think Australia is going to the semi-finals.
Yeah.
If I can put my money further and say the last time a T20 World Cup happened in the Caribbean, England and Australia faced off each other in the final.
Yeah.
I am not bold enough to make a prediction beyond the semi-final because it's the day. So
I will semi-final exit Australia.
Semi-final exit.
Exit.
Nobody can put. In the last episode only, he said on that day you cannot guess who will win. Even the semi-final exit. Anyway, and I actually
FD machan, FD.
That is the only bold prediction. You asked about West Indies, where they will end up. I said they'll get to playoffs, semi-finals. I don't know, but here I'm giving my call. Australia will lose in the semi-finals.
Australia losing in the semi-final is not something we asked for, but he has given it. Keeping all that in mind, I'm bringing you to the end of this particular episode. We've got two teams qualifying from PDOG, which is West Indies and Australia. Even from my side, that's also looking very obvious. Robin picked Pakistan, and now Robin's again picked Australia. So Australia is a unison pick. I'll see you on the other side for the next one, which is going to be the former world champions.